What up, what up, what up? It's your boy King Moses, live from the porch, man. I'm seeing some things online as usual. There's always some content going on, a lot of crazy stuff going on that I need to, chime in and give my opinion. I'm not an expert, but, I'm just sitting on the porch watching some stuff in the streets and just speaking my piece, man, because it's a lot of people out here that's misinformed or gullible and don't know what's going on or want to learn and know what's going on. And I'm just giving my perspective. I'm not an expert. People can agree, disagree. That's fine as long as we had a conversation and just make your best decision with all the information that you got out there. And that's pretty much it. So, I've been seeing some stuff going viral. I was going away, but I couldn't wait to get back on and get everything right with the technology and get on here and talk about it. So, like I said, this is for the know, not the show, man. And I can only speak from my perspective and just speaking on the community, black people, from what I see. So, it's always some stuff going on, whether it's manufactured, theatrical stuff that's going on, whether it's staged, fake stuff, which I'll get into later, or just some organic, authentic stuff that just happened. And there's always going to be a debate between man versus woman, woman versus man. Then you got men versus men internally, and women versus women. All this stuff drives conversation and content, and people going to talk about it. People going to try to act on it. Uh, and you got two types of people. You got people that are going to exploit and put this stuff out there to try to manipulate the people or just try to make a quick buck, and don't really have too much morals on what they saying or what they doing just for views, clout, and money. And then you got others that don't know any better and sees the stuff and think that a lot of this stuff is real. There's not a lot of relegation as far as like entertainment and stuff that's going on out here now, since it's direct consumer stuff going on with the Twitter and the TikTok and the IG and all this stuff. So you got a lot of people that can just put stuff out there. Nobody's fact checking, or even if it's some manufactured stuff, this is based on a true story, but there's no disclaimer or anything like that. So people see this stuff that's online on social media and thinks a lot of this stuff is real, or this is the way things are or need to be. Part of it is true, but again, when you don't have any clear directions on what's going on, people can take stuff and interpret it how they want and think stuff is true or false just because they see it online. It's not like how it used to be back in the day when we didn't have the internet, we didn't have social media. It was just if it was on TV, more likely you thought it was true, or you knew that this was a TV show or act or movie or something like that. So, this is what you see online, man. So a lot of this debate basically, and this has been going on and on about money being spent when you go out for dinner and all this stuff. So from my perspective, I think the problem with black people and as a whole is that we're a very consumer heavy society and we live outside our means consistently. Not all, but most, from my opinion. And we were able to get more money than we've ever had before in our life directly because of this direct consumership and a lot of entrepreneurship and all that stuff, which is good. But there's no financial literacy, no education on when you get the money, how do you spend it, how do you maintain it, how do you keep it, how do you keep it within the community so we all can build instead of just I'm going for the bag for myself. One quote that Dame Dash said that I always resonate with is people fighting for their last name, not their first name. Some people don't think like that, and they want it all, and they don't want to share with others. So that's one of the problems we have as a community with black people. And yeah, the money we get, we always shelling it out to other communities and not keeping it in house and not thinking 2 3 steps ahead on okay, well, how do I save, how do I make money for me, all that stuff. But you got people trying to keep up a facade because nowadays online you got to be showing off your money, you got to show off all the cars, all the clothes, you got to spend all this money to keep up and all this stuff, and people not doing the proper research. They just live in the moment, and then they get caught up later on. So when stuff get real, they got to do a GoFundMe. They got to scam. They got to do OnlyFans. They got to do all this other stuff. And it's terrible, man. And people are gullible when you're looking online and seeing this stuff, and they're very impressionable. And then you have people that, again, they know that they can get a bunch of people that's hungry and just want more and just exploit them. And they just put this narrative out here that this is the way you have to be, this is the way you have to live, and if you're not living this way, then you ain't nothing, you're less of a person. And there's more pressure on men to keep up with this lifestyle, because we have so much pressure on ourselves as men that we got to be the providers, we got to make all the money, we got to do this, we got to do that, and if you're not doing that, then you're less of. And you're hearing a lot of these stuff, and a lot of these young kids is seeing this stuff, and they're growing up not in any households with anybody really telling them the truth. They're seeing this stuff online from women, men online that's trying to be panderers and thinking that this is the way. And it's all messed up. So, here's an example of this video I seen or whatever. So it's basically going viral. These people out and about or whatever at a dinner party, and they spent up to $4,000 on food, and then when the bill came, they were arguing with each other over splitting the bill. Now, full disclosure, this is a skit, they say, whatever, I don't know, but you have this stuff online where you don't know if it's real or not. You have people to do this, so everybody talks about it, gets in a uproar, they go viral, and then do all this stuff. And people not knowing that this is the trick now, whatever, the gypsy trick of what's going on. So yeah, people think this is real because in this world is a lot of people that are really out here doing this stuff. This situation might not be an actual real situation, but it's based on, and they're not putting this disclaimer out there, but people believe it because stuff like this happens on a regular basis because people were just doing dumb stuff. So here's the video, and y'all can look at it, and then I will comment and let you know what my thoughts are about it.
I'm not splitting the bill, shawty. That's crazy. You expect us to split the bill?
You got lamb chop. You got steak.
Look at all that. Look at what all they got. They talking about splitting the bill.
What did you come out for? My thing is,
Y'all doing way too much. We didn't.
So first of all, I didn't know that these were dudes that were out with women. I thought these were just all women, and I thought these were just like some Dagger the Bulls that was out or whatever. But looking at the video, it is men or boys that are in this video with women. So I've already seen the comments or whatever. We only have to go scrolling down through the whole thing. You can see it on Twitter. But they've already started blaming the men. As a man, why didn't you take the bill? Why did you pay for the majority of it? Blah blah blah. But the thing they skipping over is, why is y'all spending $4,000 on dinner? I don't care how big the party was or whatever. And you have people that look at this stuff and say, oh, well, I want to be having a good time and doing all this and live the glamorous life. We got to spend $4,000 at this restaurant right here to keep up. And not knowing that you can't really afford it. Because if you could afford it, there wouldn't be an argument about who's splitting the bill or how this is going to be paid or whatever. If you go out, y'all should be able to be comfortable enough to have the conversation on your own and, work it out or whatever, and not tripping about why didn't you do this, do that. If you're comfortable enough to go do stuff or whatever, then you can do it. No arguments about it. Now, you might have some, discussion, whatever, maybe a little disagreement, but it wouldn't be going viral or feel that it has to be recorded and put on TikTok. But I don't understand why people are spending that's more than a lot of people's mortgages. And then y'all wonder why we're not advancing as a people because of stuff like this. Y'all spending $4K just on one outing for dinner. But then, like I said, as men, oh, well, y'all cheap, you're broke, da-da-da. But, this will get brushed under the rug if it was just all women. It's just like, oh, whatever. But, that, and then also too, I don't know the relationships or whatever, because again, this is some stage video stuff. But if you're a young boy or whatever or something like that, when girls want to go out and eat and do all this foodie stuff, and you feel that you have the need to impress them and all this stuff, this is what they do all the time. So you have to be careful when you out here loafing and doing all this, hanging out and doing all this in the name of getting some trim. you're just being viewed as a bill payer, and they don't respect you. You just you giving out money, whatever, and taking care of the bill, whatever. And you see how much dysfunction happens when there's not a overseer or leader that's making sure like this is getting done. Because somebody could say, "Hey, we can't afford a 4K dinner, whatever. We could all do something better and still celebrate the birthday, or whatever, and have a good time and still save money where it won't be no argument, and we don't have to put a front up to make it seem like we doing more than what we not." But this is the way of the world that we're in right now, and like I said, you can say all you want or whatever, but people are not going to listen. But all you can do is just put the information out, and then hopefully, people start to come to their senses and see, a path or whatever. But overall, men can't win for anything. So it's no point in even trying to argue or debate. I seen in the comments somebody saying, "Why are they arguing with females? They look lame." Da da da. I mean, I can't really say anything at this point because all of them look lame. All of them look lame just doing this or whatever, and then all this acting skit stuff or whatever, I think is corny. But even if this was real, you look crazy trying to argue with females, period, out in the open public or whatever about a bill. Like, there's plenty of ways you could have just went on ahead and did this or whatever. You could have paid for your portion and left. I don't know. Or you couldn't even have been there in the first place. But what do I know? I'm just a grumpy old man that's sitting on the porch. And then I seen something also on Facebook or whatever. Like I said, this goes back into the whole, men are just a bill payer, and that's it. And I want dudes that kind of ask themselves these questions when they have these interactions with women and have these discussions or try to get in these arguments and be advocates to try to argue with women or whatever, because you're not going to win in social media versus a woman and just in life. So y'all have to start thinking about what y'all next move is and how y'all going to operate without trying to argue. How you going to move around the situation, because as a man we don't have any backup. Women have that ability to do that. They don't have to do anything. They can find a man and take care of him. We can't do that as men on the reverse, where yes, if your game is good, but that's not substantial. But at the end of the day, if nobody takes care of us, we have to take care of ourselves. But for women, they have a luxury of doing it. That's just the way of the world. They don't have to take care of themselves. They can if they want to or need to, but they don't have to. They will always find a man or the system to back them up and support them. That's just the way it is. So I go on Facebook and I see this rigmarole. So the gypsy up here talking about, "I'm sorry, but I would have deleted him out of my context," right after when he said, "When do I get paid?" So you look at the meme or whatever that's on here. She said, "I want to get my nails done so bad. I'm sad." Dude says, "When do you get paid?" She says, "Tuesday." He said, "That's not bad. It's right there." She says, "That don't mean that because I get paid, I can afford them." He says, "What color you getting?" She said, "What do you mean? How I'm going to get a color when I clearly told you I can't afford them?" And he says, "When can you afford them and what color you going to get?" She says, "I don't know now. LMAO, I don't think that far ahead in the future." Perfect point. A lot of gypsies and women don't think far in the future because they live in the moment, because they have the luxury of living in the moment, because if they don't take care of it, it's going to be okay. Somebody else will be able to help them. That's just the way it is. And then he said, "You better paint your own nails." She said, "Ew." Now, one of the points that I said, and well, I'll get into my comment or whatever what I said on there, but I mean, it's just crazy. Now she said, let's say if she just deleted, she wanted to get her nails done and paid by this person or whatever. He didn't do it. I'm pretty sure she got a whole bunch of other people in her line that she can get this from or whatever. This could be game where she didn't even need her nails done or whatever. She just wants some money. But that's just the game the game that they play. But I mean, that's just what it is. So men, y'all have to be mindful of this stuff, man. And you got to ask yourself these questions, man. Like, this is what the world thinks of you and portrays men as: the people that pay for the bills and the nails and all that. And if you don't do it, then you're a bad guy. If you argue with it and the rationale of it, you're a bad guy, or you're broke, or you're weak, or you're gay, or you're going to be single for the rest of your life because you won't be able to find a woman because that's what you have to do. And then you have to ask yourself as a man, what do you get in return if you conform to this and say, okay, I'll do it. And then how are you going to be treated and how do you feel about yourself after this is done? So if you're the guy that's always paying for the nails or whatever, and she just, how does she treat you? Does she treat you with respect? Does she ask you all the time or whatever? And then does she get mad if you don't do what she asks you to do? Is she going to cut you off if you don't pay to get her nails done or don't pay her rent or whatever? So maybe you should ask your questions. Is it really worth it to do it? And maybe you should try to talk to women that don't allow you to be the provider. Well, it's not asking for that. Now, if you choose to do that on your own free will, by all means, do what you want to do. But when you have mandatory requirements that you have to do it, and if you don't do it, then they're ready to cut you off or delete you, then that tells you how much they value you. So maybe you need to start thinking about that before you start talking to these women. And again, I'm going to reiterate because I said it before. A woman should not have to ask a man for anything. If he wants to do it, he's going to initiate it. Now, obviously, there's some caveats to it. I'm not talking about in a relationship or marriage or whatever, but at the end of the day, when we're talking about that, a conversation has to be had where there are rules established where it says, hey, don't worry about your hair and nails done or whatever. Just let me know when you need them done and I got you. Or, hey, when is the bill due for this or whatever? You let me know and I got you. So technically, yes, you would have to let him know or ask him whatever if that's the arrangement. But there's been a conversation that's been had and there's an established done. But a lot of this stuff, when you're talking about these, there's no conversation. There's none of that or whatever. It's just all this tiptoeing around. Let me see how much I can get away with without actually fully saying it. People are scared to communicate, and men have to be mind readers and all this stuff. So to avoid all that, just have an open conversation or whatever and talk it out and say, okay, what are we doing? What are we not doing? This is what it is. This is what it ain't. And that's it. So, I mean, but that's what they think about us men for the most part or whatever, because it's just crazy. I mean, you could kind of scroll through and see some of these comments or whatever. Like, it's just crazy how, like I said, how they think about you. And some of this stuff is very premeditated and just like, manufactured comment stuff or whatever to try to rile people up in the conversation. So people do this stuff like this all the time, man. People do stuff like this all the time. I gotta see where I can find my comment because I said some stuff or whatever, and I mean, you know how it is, man. It's just crazy, man. But yeah, y'all keep on falling for this nonsense or whatever. Yeah, I mean, look at these comments or whatever. If you need a dad, just say that. So I can't find my comment, but basically, what are these women doing without a man? Let's just say that they try this game or whatever, and they trying to get all these and guys stand on their morals and say no, we're not going for it, and she can't find a man for anything. What is she gonna be able to do? Can she actually survive? Can she upkeep herself, her personal hygiene, and get her hair and nails done on her own? If these women want to go out on dates and can't find a date or whatever, can they actually cook and feed themselves? Or will they be able to pay for their own food and take care of themselves? And if they can't, men need to ask themselves, well, if you're dealing with these type of women, why am I giving away my power to somebody that's lesser than me? Because I can take care of myself. I can cook. I can clean. I can get my hair cut. I can, keep up. So then now you have to view her as a liability. If you're giving money to her to build her up and she's less than you, you're giving away your power. You're giving away your money. And then you're empowering her to feel that she's more of a person that she ain't. And then has the audacity to talk to you disrespectful. And you allow it? Y'all got to think about that when y'all start having these conversations, man. And then the last thing I'll talk about, whatever, man, is, like I said, man, I don't want to just bash on women or whatever because, like I said, I'm going to talk the real about anybody. And then you got these pandering dudes or whatever that talking all this stuff where, they go to the extreme. Okay, well, I don't want to deal with girls like this or whatever, so I'm going to get my passport and I'm going to be a passport brother or whatever. And again, they're not telling you the whole story. And I said it before, these dudes, for the most part, that go over to these countries that you need a passport, they are paying for sex workers. Common sense will tell you a lot of these places they go into, they don't speak English. So how are they going to talk to these girls and have a conversation with them if they're not talking about money and paying for them? Now this is a video that's in Thailand or whatever, and this dude goes over there fronting, and like I said, this is a manufactured stuff or whatever, where they get the views or whatever, and they're giving free promotion to these places and these scenarios, like this is where you gotta be. So he's promoting to be like, yeah, all these Asian women love black guys, and if you want to feel the love, you need to get your passport and go to Thailand, because they'll be all on you like this. And some dudes that is gullible will look at this stuff like, yeah, he's right, look at him, I can do that too. But they just exploiting you for views, clout, and they're lying to you or they're misleading you. Yes, then you could probably go to Thailand and walk past, and then if you see it, point of view, black walking through the massage shops, in quotations, in Thailand. So that's code word for sex work. So if you want to go over there and experience this, do your research and know that if you go over there, this is what's going to happen. You got to pay for that. And stop perpetrating and telling half truths. Because this is crazy, man. And then, like I said, man, stop believing a lot of stuff on social media. Y'all do y'all research and read into the stuff. Because like I said, man, they prey on people that's gullible, and they trying to put a narrative out there of what it is and what it ain't. And I'm like I said, I pray for these young kids because they see this stuff and there ain't no real guidance on this stuff. I don't even worry about the people, again, that's 25, 30 years old and older. You should know better, but you just caught in the mix or whatever. But I care about these dudes that's 13, 14, 15. I care about the young girls that's 13, 14, 15. Because y'all see, they so impressionable and they see this and they're not even hearing anything from anybody in their household on this is entertainment, this ain't real, whatever the case may be. And it ain't no better because you got they being raised by gypsy Jezebel mothers and gypsy fathers, trick daddies and trick babies and second generation trick babies that's ain't even watching their kids. They more watching about who's watching them, who's viewing them. Instead of them watching your kid, you watching your views and your impressions and all that nonsense. But let me show you the video, man. Look at this fool.
God, I'm okay, thank you. I'm okay. I'm okay. No, all right, thank you. Saudi, huh?
Yeah, so, I mean, this is the narrative. Now, who you don't know who that brother, this Negro is working for. He could be working for the man to try to make it look like, hey, this is how you're supposed to be. This is what you're supposed to do. Pay him a little bit of money and views and all this stuff and put this nonsense out or whatever so we can get the tourism to Thailand. You don't know. Who knows? I could be a crazy conspiracy theorist or whatever, but all I can tell you is a lot of this stuff is not real and it's manufactured. So what I hate is a lot of stuff that just be rehearsed in this theatrical nonsense, this kabuki that be online where you have people just doing this stuff, doing practice takes and all this stuff. A lot of stuff ain't organic. This is rehearsed. This is the new Hollywood. Social media is the new Hollywood. And now you got everybody that just wants to be a part of this nonsense, and you're not even looking at yourself morally and looking at your values and look at the stuff that I'm doing. It ain't no different than when crack hit in the 80s. You think all them crack dealers was thinking about their morals and values? They was thinking about getting money. But then when crack started to die down or whatever, and you start to ask them after they did 10, 20, 30 years, and then they see what happened to the community, they regret it. Most of them do. So, and most of them regret. Most of the people that use crack and was drugs or whatever, they regretted using. That's why they had to do rehab for this stuff. So, social media is the new crack. And you got these influencers and all that. They just, oh well, if I don't get the money, whatever, somebody else will. But like I said, it's gonna get worse and worse. And again, I'm gonna keep praying for these kids, man. So I'm gonna figure out something the title of this video, man, because it's just I just saw a whole bunch of that stuff or whatever, and I just wanted to comment on it, whatever. So I wanted to keep this short and simple as possible. I'm working on it. I'm a work in progress to try to just make these videos a little bit shorter and just do it like that, man. So y'all like, comment, subscribe, share. Again, I'm not trying to go viral. I don't care about all of that. I just want to get the information out, man. It's for the know, not the show. And the porch is not a location, it's a mindset. So I just like to be relaxed, chill, and comfortable and mind my business. But I'm going to speak on things when I see it and just move on. But the way this world is set up, is always going to be something to talk about. And there's always going to be some content, unfortunately, for me to provide my opinion on. And again, I'm not an expert. I might be wrong. And y'all can let me know in the comments. And we'll see what's up, man. So it's your boy King Moses, live from the porch, man. I'm out.